Hello, everybody. We are live right now. We are live on Facebook, and I hope we've got some viewers. Uh, I'm going to be starting this evening reading a super poem. It's called Uncle Gruntley. A store was owned by Uncle Gruntley, filled with all kinds of precious jewelry. Gems, pearls, diamonds, and the African ruby. Making money is Gruntley's big hobby. No consideration for the poverty around. He was surrounded by people of vanity spellbound. It was with vain people he had common ground, not a trace of humanity within. Gruntley looked at the poverty world as nothing. One day, on hurrying to his shop in despair, Gruntley slipped and fell into a drainage hole due for repair. The rich and opulent looked at him in pity, but none came to save Gruntley in that city. A tramp, seeing Gruntley battling for life, threw the rope, giving miserable Gruntley the final hope. Holding onto the rope, out climbed Gruntley, finally escaping the hole that was deadly. Knowing the tramp saved his life as a responsibility, Gruntley mended his ways, seeing all with humanity. Gruntley mended his ways, seeing all with humanity. This beautiful rhyme is from this wonderful book, 𝘒𝘅𝘵 Tales by Shiju 𝘕𝘕𝘓. And I have Shiju sir here with us, honoring Cafe Conversations. A very, very warm welcome to you, Shiju sir. So honored to have you here.
Thank you so much, 𝘕𝘓. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whichever part of the world all of you are. So it's better that I wish all the 3 moments of the day, because I don't know from which part where you have joined, so I have no idea about it. So wish all of you a great day, and let's begin, 𝘕𝘓.
Shiju sir, we already have we have about 16 viewers that I can see. We have 10 people who've reacted to us, and we have Brenda Mohammed ma'am over here saying hi Ipshita Ganguly and hi Shiju sir, and we have so many guests.
Brenda has a role over here. I'll tell you that later. Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to see here so many people, including Brenda ma'am. We've got Vishwarup. Hi Vishwarup. Raju Burman is a very, very famous publisher in India. Hi Raju Da. Avilash, he's a poet, saying hi. We've got my mother. My mother has also joined us. Hi Ma. Good to have all of you here. And they're all saying hello. And there are many, many more. But first and foremost, Shiju sir, you need no introduction. You're doing the introduction all over the world. Having said that, just a few words on you, sir. Shiju 𝘕𝘕𝘕𝘓 is the founder of Motivational Strips, the world's most active writers forum. It has writers from more than 100 countries. He holds president titles in World Nations Writers Union, a conglomerate for global writers, and in Union Hispano-Mundial de 𝘕𝑗𝑔𝑒𝑖𝑡𝑜𝑟es. I hope I've got that right. The world's largest Spanish writers union. He is respected by worldwide writers as a motivational speaker, mentor, and writer's coach. He's been honored and awarded from worldwide literary circles. Motivator and mentor par excellence. Shiju sir, heartiest congratulations on the first anniversary of this beloved book, 𝘒𝘅𝘵 Tales. A collection of 15 beautiful folk tales and 15 wonderful rhymes based on the tales. I can tell you, sir, when I got this beautiful book, the colorful cover, the cheerful content immediately reconnected me to my childhood. It has such a happy feeling about this book. I remember, I think in one of Brenda ma'am's posts, I remember you saying that the real hero was the cosmic force that narrated these beautiful tales to your mind. So that's a beautiful thought. Tell us more about the genesis of Granny Katoori and 𝘒𝘅𝘵 Tales.
See, the whole book was done in a hurry. Okay, First of all, hi to everyone, whoever viewing this particular video. And thank you so much, Ipsita, for giving me a place in this show for the day. Speaking about Katashi Tales, it was a book which was made by accident, actually. I'll be very honest with you.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
Katashi Tales is not my first book. My first book is Ghost Wisdom, The Ghost Wisdom.
Okay.
But what happened is I got published with Katashi first because I kept the Ghost Wisdom for a little later. So the whole crux of this is that Katashi Ghost Wisdom was written in 45 days. The whole book was
Wow.
written in 45 days. Katashi Tales was written in 14 and a half days.
Oh my God.
The entire 15 stories. That is why I
This
said
fact.
this Brenda has a role over here because Brenda was the chief editor for the book. So what I used to do is every day I used to write one story and then I used to edit it a couple of times and then of course it goes to Brenda and Brenda will have a microscopic look on the entire thing, to make sure everything goes fine. After Brenda does the editing, it goes to Sarah Northwood. Sarah will do the proofing. So it was an excellent teamwork what we had for this book.
Wow. Wow.
And you would have noticed that all the fiction stories, 15 fiction stories in the book, you will find them in rhyme poetry form at the end.
Absolutely.
For that, there was a separate editor, Samantha Bearden. She's from Oxford and Poetic School, London. So I
Wow.
wanted to make sure things never go wrong, when a book is made. So the entire book was, that's why I said it was made out of accident. The entire book was made in one month, approximately 35 to 40 days, the entire publication. Now you said about the cover, the book
Yes.
cover, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
There was a reason I made the book cover like that. Because what happens is, that after Jataka tales, Panchatantra, Canterbury tales, we had a huge vacuum of folk tales. We had a huge vacuum of folk tales. Nobody, we used to hear the same old, stories, the old folk tales, what has been circulating around. So,
True.
so I was thinking that maybe people are not writing this genre because it is magical realism. Because magical realism, what happens is, are you aware about magical realism, Ipsita? What is the genre?
Do tell us a few words
Yeah,
about it, sir. It will be
yeah.
nice for the viewers.
Magical realism genre is where everything is constructed.
Wow.
Nothing is real. Nothing is real. But when you read the town, when you read the people, when you read the whereabouts, when you read the description of the jungle, when you try to know the characters in that, you will feel that these are people that you have been knowing for years.
Wow.
So all the
Wow.
villages, including Katashi village, everything was made out of fiction. So this is what
How
is actually
lovely.
magical realism. So you would have read about Gulliver Travels,
Of
right?
course. Of
Gulliver
course.
Travels.
Of course.
So you know that Lilliput, that particular island, where the tiny. So that was there was no such an island. So that book
Of
was
course.
written on magical realism. So
Wow. Wow.
when you write folk tales, if you write with something which is very familiar to people, then it wouldn't be folk tales. Because folk tales are stories which can be exchanged over generations, and those stories should go from mouth to mouth. Like if Ipsita reads a story, she tells somebody else, and then it keeps on spreading. And that is why the introduction of Katashi tale had this description. I think that was a quick run of any. I think that was a good brief on the entire book. Anything else you want to know on this, Ipsita?
Sir, that
Yeah,
was
I was talking about the
fascinating.
cover. I was talking about the
Yes.
cover.
The cover. The cover. Yes.
See, when you exchange a book over generations, it becomes a book to be gifted to all ages.
So
So
true.
normally what happens is you have to gift wrap a book. I didn't want my
Yes.
book to be gift wrapped because it is already gift wrapped when you give it to
True.
them. It has
Beautiful.
all the
Beautiful
multicolor
cover.
which is required. So the whole idea behind the cover was to make it so colorful is that, let it be a good book to be gifted on an occasion like Christmas or, like Diwali or anything as such. Whatever occasions happen, nobody will say no to folk tales because everybody loves to read folk tales. And that was one reason why Katashi Tales was a bestseller, and Ghost Wisdom didn't make it as much as Katashi Tales made it, because Katashi Tales has more of an audience. Then, speaking about the cover was not made by a commercial cover maker. It was made by animation movie makers.
Wow.
I had some contacts in the movie industry where, they have worked with Hollywood projects, and they were laughing when I suggested that they do the cover for the book. But then, friendship surmounts everything, At the end of the day, I'm their friend and they have to agree whatever I say. So I said, you just forget that you're commercial, or don't feel, let down that I asked you to make a cover. It's just a desire that I wanted to see a creative work in my book. That's all. Then they all agreed, and they didn't take a penny also for this, because obviously this is peanuts for them because they deal in millions. So actually, this is the story behind the cover. So the book had all kind of support, whether it is cosmic, whether it is between friends, whether it is between the literary family. We have a beautiful literary family motivational strips where we have all kinds of people from all walks of life, all levels of acumen when it comes to writing. And one more thing I would like to communicate over here. Nobody is a perfect writer. I'll tell you why. Because no matter how perfect you are in writing, as a writer, your role is to make sure the creative thoughts come to print.
So true.
But when it comes to scientific precision, let me highlight the fact: scientific precision, where things are looked on a scientific manner. There, the creativity is not looked. That is where an editor's role comes.
So
because
true,
many things will not fall into our eyes. But when an editor knows that her or his job is only to make sure that everything is perfect.
Precisely.
And my role is to make sure that the story goes well. So editor is like, that final polish. We say, after we construct everything, we give a final touch up, just to make sure the color dye is same everywhere. So that final touch is always made by an editor. So if your editor is bad, it can create a bad name to you also as a writer.
Right, sir.
But it's on the other way around also. If you are bad, you think that the editor can make you good. That is also impossible.
It's not possible. So true.
It is an understanding between the editor and the writer, saying that, this portion, let it remain like that. Because the editor will give you all liberty as long as the editor is productive enough. So
Shiju sir, you're inaudible. You're inaudible. We've just lost that. I think Shiju sir is back. Shiju sir, I think the audio needs to be adjusted. Audio cannot be heard, Shiju sir. Audio. I think the audio is gone. Shiju sir, can you hear me? The audio needs to be adjusted. It was a fascinating talk by Shiju sir. I think he's connecting the audio. But what a fascinating piece of information. Because I think for those of us who write, who publish books, this is a very, very important piece of advice that Shiju sir has just given. I think Shiju sir can just take it out. I think Shiju sir, you can rejoin. I will be reading this out. I will be reading the excerpts, and Shiju sir can just rejoin. Yes, there you are. He'll be back. So what Shiju sir had just said, I think is very, very valid for everybody to understand. For those of us who write in particular, it is very important. It is extremely important to kind of understand what Shiju sir said about editing, about the cover, and about the fact that what an important teamwork it actually is. Hello to everybody who's joined us. I see Navpreet here. Navpreet, it is especially wonderful to have you with us tonight. You have asked a question, is Harry Potter magic realism? We will ask that once Shiju sir comes back. I'm sure he'll be back. Vishwarup says the book cover is lovely. Rajuda says the book cover is lovely. Mrityunjay sir is here and he's saying interesting discussion. There's Sharbani Ghoshal, my cousin, who's joined us from Dubai. Saurish Banerjee says it's a good moment. Khemlal sir says he's here. He says he's here. Thank you so much. Mahalakshmi, hello Mahalakshmi. It is good to have you here as well with us. There's Asim Sahu, so nice. Vandita, hi Vandita. Good to have you. Purobi Menon, my God, so wonderful to have you with us, Purobi. I am connecting with you after ages. Okay, Shiju says, what should I do? Please rejoin. I'm just asking him to rejoin. Click on the link again. I will add you. Sometimes technology can be such a problem. I will rejoin Shiju sir, but as he joins in, let me read a little bit from his wonderful book, 𝘓𝘕 Tales. Scary Knight, who loved to spread an ambience of black and unseen sights, was on his routine vision. He wanted to make sure darkness was spread around the world and to never allow a lot of brightness to keep it lit. Night wanted to keep away the world's vision in all directions. Night loved all that's black and was always allergic to seeing light. He loved to see his dark rays hiding all the vision around his kingdom, lying in stark darkness. The scarier it looked, the happier he was. Night loved silence and blackness. And I have Shiju sir back with us. Shiju sir, can you hear me? Hello, Shiju sir. Can you hear me? Shiju sir is back. I wonder if he can hear us. Shiju sir, can you hear me? There is Swapna ma'am here, Swapna Behra ma'am, Asima Sahu ma'am. There's Luz Vividna saying hello, Swish Khaitan saying wow, interesting discussion. Everybody's here, Shiju sir. I hope you can hear us as well. I'm reading a bit from your book, 𝘓𝘕 Tales. This particular story is called Night Vision, and I've been reading from 𝘓𝘕 Tales, Night Vision. He kept covering the clouds and the surface of the earth with a black blanket, keeping it aloof from connecting to the overall galaxy. Night was born with that sole purpose, and his target was to spread his power and prowess in carrying darkness wherever he trod. The greatest enemy of Night was Moon, as he felt he meddled with his plans of spreading darkness around the world. When night covered the sky in dusky black shade, Moon enlightened the surroundings with his waves of semi-brightness, guiding humans on Earth to vision and giving them proper direction. Moon explained that he had been brought to the world to share brightness and to awake vision in lives of mankind. Moon calmly replied that his impression lasted with his power of shedding light, and that was the best way he could express his purpose. Night claimed no solution existed. The best suggestion for Moon was to retire, move to a new world where there was only brightness. Further to this, Night warned him to keep away from hampering his mission of spreading scary darkness around. Moon wisely told Night that many great problems could be solved with productive discussion and mergers. The suggestion he put across to Night was a merger. He said that creating fusion and combining strength could bring about more happiness and better results. The world needed both darkness and better results. The world needed both darkness and light to survive. The presence of night helped billions to sleep, whereas the brightness shed by Moon supported people. to find ways to enjoy walks in the darkness. The world welcomed his friendship, and today the darkness looks more beautiful with moonlight spread across. Now, this is a beautiful tale. It's a very simple, it's a very simply put, childlike manner because it is meant for children. Definitely, it is meant for children. These are folk tales. But here, Shiju sir has actually personified the night, darkness, and the moon. He's made two characters out of these beautiful everyday phenomena that we see. And it's like they're having a conversation and they're having they're like having a little tic-tac-toe and who's one-upmanship. And finally, he ends with a message where he's teaching children about merger, about collaboration. The world welcomed this friendship, and today darkness looks more beautiful with moonlight spread across. Shiju sir, such a beautiful thought. Can you hear me, Shiju sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Don't
Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad you're back.
Everything is perfect now.
I'm so glad you're back.
Suddenly signal went away. I got a phone call and then everything went away. That's what happened. Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm really sorry to all the people who are watching the show. I mean, there was a lightning strike, and I don't know what happened. Everything went away. So happy to be back to all of you. Yeah. Tell me,
Shiju sir,
it was a beautiful narration. The way you read it was very, very deep, and it was heartfelt. I could feel it here, and I was actually smiling. That's really nice because you are a peculiar reader. Because as a reader, when you're able to connect with the script, that is the best thing. Any author would love to see that in a reader. That person is able to connect to the story. That night vision actually was, I don't know how it came. Maybe I was sitting in the night and writing. Suddenly then I thought about light, and then then I thought, okay, fine, let's connect these people as characters and see what cooks up. And I'm quite happy that the story went up very well, actually. Yeah.
It's a beautiful. I'm just going to say hello to everybody who's with us. 𝘕𝘓𝘵 Mirza-ji. He's the descendant of Wajid Ali Shah. So he's here with us. Shiju sir is there from Oman. There are so many people. Khemlal sir is here. Wonderful talk, Ipshita and Shiju ji. He's there from Nepal. Asima Sahu ji. I'm so happy now listening to you both. How wonderful. Mahalakshmi says your reading of the story Night Vision is making the ambience so wonderful, Ipshita ji. Thank you so much, Mahalakshmi. Good to have you with us from Assam. Purabhi Menon, Ipshita, good presence and delivery. She's there from Delhi. 𝘒𝘓𝘵𝑗𝑗 Ghosh, Nutun Bhavna, which means something new. He says bhalo lagche, which means he's enjoying it. This is all in Bengali, so it's just so wonderful to have people from everywhere. Gopa Bhattacharya, she's saying lovely to hear both of you. Shiju sir, I'm going to be reading another excerpt, if I may. This one's a real personal favorite. It's from your book, of course, Katashi Tales. Danger met anger. And I'm going to read a bit from this. Thus the question arises, are human beings only living to be commanded by anger and hatred? Are we living in this world by worshipping potential dangers lying ahead? The story of the clash between anger and danger will shed some strong revelations on how humans have brought misery upon themselves. Once upon a time, danger, the most dreaded force, was walking through the debris of calamities he had created. He was excited and happy seeing the humans had lost houses and many were lying dead. He rejoiced in his success, taking power over humans to use them at his discretion. Danger was the cosmic force that loved to execute his duty with diligence, but just brought harm to the beautiful world. He loved to see fear amongst all that resided on earth. Sadism and phobias amongst humans thrilled danger. Danger said he didn't waste time on plunder or sneaky shows, but at his discretion goes straight to the act of destroying all that he wished to. He claimed he was the terminator of humans and that all lives on earth were at his mercy. Anger, having calmed a bit, said that no humans can be provoked by danger alone. He cannot execute any of his deeds without assistance from anger. Anger claimed he's the weapon of danger, and offending him is equivalent to weakening himself. Anger boasts that without his help, danger is nowhere close to being called the hero of disaster. He highlights that many times danger succeeded in getting humans to destroy properties and nations just because he intervened and helped the process. Danger found himself in a fix and thought for a moment. He kept looking for ways and means to tackle anger. Finally, he blurted out that anger was trying to act as a parasite, taking credit for all the efforts to glorify himself. He told anger that it was a shame to steal the worthiness and credit gained by him through his personal effort. Danger claimed that all anger was doing was bragging. Anger grinned and tried to convince that danger, both of them had to be interdependent to tackle humans. Amidst the debate between anger and danger, the enlightened monk 𝘕𝘠𝘵 entered. He claimed that both of them had never caused humans complete harm. Only the weak had been suppressed by them, but danger and anger had failed many times amongst the mentally strong and wise humans. Anger and danger felt ashamed of themselves because monk 𝘕𝘠𝘵 pointed out clearly that not all humans feared them, but just the weak. Danger and anger understood their folly, decided to retreat knowing that humans had the greater power. They always had an upper hand to remain neutral and non-reactive to their provocations. They both left the fight knowing that the greatest power had been given by the cosmic force to human beings. Today, they live fearing the humans. They clearly understood that none possessed the power to stop humans from better living. They both sustained their power to manipulate the weak, but never dared to approach the strong-willed. I love this story because, again, you have personified two emotions, dangerous, what is dangerous, and what is anger. And here, not only are you saying this in a very lucid way, and you're actually explaining how danger and anger interact and they're interdependent, but you're also teaching a message far beyond childhood. I think we are living in dangerous times in this coronavirus times. There's a fear factor. There's anger because of life having changed overnight, and the very fact that Shiju sir, you keep reiterating that danger and anger sustain their power to manipulate the weak and never dared to approach the strong-willed, I think is a beautiful message in itself. Tell us a little more about this thought, Shiju sir.
See, this was actually, am I audible? Because I had some interruptions
You're
in
audible.
between when you were talking.
You're audible. You're audible, Shiju. So I can hear you.
Basically, anger, anger is always from within. So if you are mentally strong enough, if you're wise enough to know how to behave in a crowd, or you know how to like react when a situation comes,
Right.
I don't think that anger can overcome you. So the concept
So
was
true.
made from that particular point.
So
So
true.
danger is, so see, peril is everywhere. I mean, you can't, today maybe somebody is alive and tomorrow it can be that that same person, you know, like is like on the verge of his last breath. So you can't predict
So
anything
true.
in life. But at the same time,
So
the
true.
more you fear, the more you are giving yourself to danger. So humans have that capability to handle enough unpredictable situations around. And we are blessed with a lot of courage. The only thing is that we should identify it ourselves. There shouldn't be someone to come and tell you that you have to see, because the if you ask me what is the greatest reality in life, the greatest reality, which is the actual truth, that we will all die one day. Everybody knows it. So living is a process and death is the
Very
truth.
true.
If you,
So
so
true.
the whole thing is like you can't keep thinking that you are born to die. Then you will never live. You should always feel that you have been given an opportunity to live, and let me enjoy when as long as it, you know, it drags or takes you in. So all these concepts together made me feel that these two can be a real good characters, you know, like a Bollywood movie.
Very
So
true.
I
Very
just connected them as characters, and I never had any idea where it is going to end up with. But then the story went very well, and then, you know, a lot of, see. And one more thing, Ipsita, you should understand that the book might have something which is more advanced than what is required for children. That is why this book is called a book for all ages. There's no age limit for
exactly.
this. And anyone
Exactly.
between
Exactly.
12 years to 99 years and beyond, if the vision is there, they can still read this book. So that's how it is like that.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely, absolutely.
and I didn't want to categorize the book into one particular thing. What happens is when you categorize a book into one particular age, what happens is you have a lot of limitations. I
So
wanted
true,
to make
so
it a
true.
very I wanted to make it very simple, so that even if children above 12 years, want to read and learn something, they can read it. And the stories are given a lot of, a bit of humor you will find everywhere. Whether it is
Right,
serious plot also, you will find a bit of humor. That is where the strength of a folktale comes. So
right.
that's like it is. Anything else?
Actually, anger and danger, I think, is more for children and very, very potent for today. What we are going through, more for adults than children. And I mean, I think you're absolutely right, for all age groups, adult and children. And it's very potent in today's day and age. Every tale, Shiju sir, is lyrical and melodious, and yet there's a very important message. The story of Tommy Tucker, for example, where you say Tommy Tucker was a very sociable and respectful writer. He used his pen to only write
That's a
about
lovely
things that
story.
helped.
It's my favorite story.
One of
That is
it,
my favorite
I
story.
every story she just said. But yes, this is a beautiful. That's why I want to just read a bit from here, because for me, this whole book, Katashi Tales, is about beautiful messages in the most melodious, lyrical way possible. Tommy Tucker was a very sociable and respectful writer. He used his pen to only write about things that help humans to connect and be good, as well as to be kind to one another. His eyes were sharp, understanding, and he could only see goodness in all human beings. He even smiled with people who came with the intention to do harm. They would shy away in defeat, seeing Tommy's boldness while confronting them. Tommy was always truthful in life, outrageously honest and sympathetic to all who suffered around him. He inspired many who wanted to follow his path. He was a mentor to many, selflessly extending a helping hand without second thoughts. He was in love with all forms of art, whether be it writing, music, or instrumentals. Such a beautiful reiteration of good values, Shiju. A reiteration of goodness so lost today, because when today everybody speaks in the relative, sab chalta hai, everything is acceptable. But throughout the book, Shiju, it's always constantly promoting basic goodness, reiterating basic goodness of value system. Which brings me, Shiju, to your live shows and literary snippets. You talk about the importance of integrity, the lack of use of hatred, hatred leading to doomsdom, the perils of insecurity, the importance of group behavior in how to value a crowd. Tell us a little, Shiju, about your philosophy of life, please.
See, my philosophy of life is. Can you hear me? It's audible? Okay. My
Absolutely
philosophy
audible,
of
Shiju
life
sir.
is. My philosophy of life is simple. Be real. Be human. Be practical. Rather than, trying to accumulate a lot of jargon and then, giving a lot of preaches, there are very, very simple things in life which, if followed, like it can make you a great person. Here, I would like to quote about my second book, The Ghost Wisdom. The Ghost Wisdom is having 110 capsules of
Wow.
whispers, but I don't want to break the suspense. The book is in a way that it will show you from your birth to your grave what all can happen and
Wow.
what all you have done. It will also tell you where you were, what you are today, and what you can be tomorrow. So wherever the corrections can be made, that. And there, I haven't preached any philosophy over there. Real practical aspects, which have come across in life. Because see, it's very easy to say that we should make sure our passion grows. We should make sure our brain connects with the entire surroundings. See, we can use such jargons. Let me be very
So true.
the reason I'm using jargons are that you can use bombastic words when you express things, but it's very simple. What you're trying to say is that learn to value people, learn to learn from them, learn to connect with them on a good friendship, try to build up the rapport. The same thing we are saying in big, big jargons and bombastic words. So are we being real over here, Ipsita, when we say that?
Exactly. Simple,
So
simple truths of life.
this is what the message of Katashi Tales is, and this is the message which is there from the Ghost Wisdom also. I don't want to name any particular nation or anybody as such, but let me be very honest with you. if you look in certain parts of the world, you know what is a blurb of a book. You know what is a blurb of a book.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It is something
Two-liners.
which the blurb of a book is behind.
Yeah. Yes.
What is the purpose of a blurb of a book?
So, Shiju sir? Hello?
What is the normal? Yeah, I'm just asking you a simple question. What is the blurb? What is the blurb of a book? What is the purpose of it?
Normally a two-liner about the book. Like over here it says Katashi Tales reveals 15 hair-raising and unheard stories and fables. This book will take you on a journey filled with laughter, tears, extensive knowledge, beaming with real-life illustrations. Katashi Tales is a priceless collectible treasure which can exchange hands for generations to come. So very small summary giving the essence of the book.
And did you read my bio below that? What have I written?
Shiju H. Pallithazeth is the founder of Motivational Strips and co-president of World Nations Writers Union and Union 𝘕𝘂𝘵 𝘏. Respected by worldwide writers as a motivational speaker, mentor and writer's coach, he has won numerous honors and awards from worldwide literary circles and academics. 2 lines.
That's it.
Very simple. Very
2
simple.
lines. Now,
2 lines.
have you seen some books, ipsita? Have you seen some books? You will find that one chapter will be the educational qualification from the SSLC, the matriculation to the PhD.
So true.
Everything is mentioned on the blurb, and the blurb will be written in a way that a reader will feel that after God, what is the answer is this person. Now, as a buyer of book, the whole intention, if the reader is wise enough, if it is a very serious reader, the whole intention of a reader looking at a blurb is to understand what is the content, what he or she has inside that book, which can benefit
Absolutely.
them.
Absolutely.
Now, if they see the educational qualification, if they see the whole historical thing, if they know that in 1997 he got this award, 1996 this award, you won't believe it. They made even the words are made so small that you have to take a microscope to look, at the blurb to understand,
Oh Lord.
what is written over there, because they want
So
to
true.
push in maximum about the entire. It's like a curriculum by this entire CV is written over there. So the whole idea behind this is like we can jargons, we can do big bombastic words, but
Very true.
the faster communication, the better comprehension is when you make it very simple. Try to curb the entire stuff into simple words, which it might be a one-liner, but it can speak epics. There are so many words which you can use that way. So the whole idea behind Katashi Tales was the stories are of course amusing stories, but at the end of the story, a reader shouldn't feel that the reader didn't benefit from that. That is why you find all my stories ending with some kind of message which can benefit
Absolutely.
them in a very positive manner.
Absolutely.
And I have
So
not
true.
overdone it because, of course, the amusement is very important. Amusement is given priority, but I wanted to make sure before the gate is closed on a story, that gate has some golden letters written on that. Be this, try to be that. So this was the intention behind Katashi Tales. And
So
of course, you know me very well. You've not been meeting me first time. For me,
true.
everything at the end of the day gets connected to how you can be a better person. So I'm not telling
Absolutely,
that
Shiju sir.
I am perfect, but I'm trying to get closer to perfection. Of course, nobody can be perfect. Everybody finally graduates in life in their coffin, because till then it's a learning process. So
Absolutely
I am
right.
also learning.
Absolutely right,
I am
Shiju sir.
also learning from all of you. So whatever I am learning from all of you, it is me to decide what I will keep it here and what I will relay back. Because
How
when you
lovely.
try to learn something, see, it's like this: when you try to breathe the breeze, you try to smell a breeze. You feel the breeze is so good. But please understand that the breeze also has bacteria and virus in that. So it's up to you what you will take inside and what you will relay back to
Beautiful
the
word.
people. So
Beautiful
all
word.
these stories are in a way cosmic, because the creativity is of course cosmic. The writer's creativity is always cosmic because we don't know from where we get. Sometimes we start poems
Beautiful
and we
thought.
don't know where the poem is going to take us and where we're going to end up. So there
So
is
true.
some kind of external force which is
keeping a blessed hand on all the others. But my personal suggestion is that as a writer, your talents, your blessings should not be used to inflate your own ego, but it should be something to deflate. Again, let me repeat: not to inflate your ego, but to deflate the errors what you see in the surroundings. This is what the ultimate
Beautiful.
aim of a writer is. Until and
Beautiful
unless we
thought,
don't
Shiju.
understand that, see, it's very simple. You cannot teach a mass until you learn the mass. What is a mass? Mass is public. So whatever
True.
you learn from them, if you keep it to yourself and you will not share with it to somebody else, and then it means like you're trying to keep a focus light on yourself, and it will be a laughing stock among, actually, a wise crowd will always see a person who keeps boasting about himself. They will always see them as a laughing stock. That's why
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yesterday's quote, you would have read that sometimes the way people behave, I feel like it's time that we have to change the nappies. It's a
That was
fact.
lovely.
I
I just
mean,
love
see,
that.
it might be funny, but what to do? But still we smile because we don't want to spoil relations. We bear everything because we don't want to spoil relations. But
Right.
as a writer, my humble suggestion is that all of us, including me, should not use talent which has been given by way of blessing to inflate ourselves without any substance inside. When you try to
Lovely thought, Shiju
deflate
sir.
the errors in the surrounding, when you try to deflate the errors in the surroundings, that is when you inflate yourself with essence.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful thought.
so I
Beautiful
just
thought.
wanted to
It,
just share this because we have a topic came to all those messages. Yeah.
So it's a
What else?
lovely perspective, Shiju sir. It's always like that. In fact, Brenda ma'am is saying something very nice also. She's saying, Ipshita Ganguly, each story teaches us morals and values for both the old and young. So true, Brenda ma'am. Lots of people saying hello to you, sir. We've got uh, we've got Khemlal ji, of course. Sumana Sumi is watching. She's saying hello. Devinder Kaur, she's sitting in Ludhiana, Punjab. She's saying hello. Luzvi, from Philippines. So excited to read Katie. My copy will be coming soon in Philippines. Timothy's here. Hi, Tim. You're going to love it. This is about Timothy and Lizzie. They are there.
Timothy,
Yes,
Timothy is my coach in speaking. He
he's
is a
wonderful.
great
I'm a
orator
fan of his
himself. Are you aware
voice.
about that?
Luzvi's poems, Timothy's elocution. Oh my God, it's a different thing altogether. But allow me, Shiju sir, to read
Nay, nay.
another poem of yours.
Okay.
Hello? No. You were saying something, Shiju sir. I'll read it after.
No. I was saying that the good thing about Timothy is that Timothy always asks questions, which many of the writers forget to ask. And that is one plus point and strength in him. No, that is actually a
Love.
strength in him because he makes sure that he is in the correct path. So whether it is to me or to Sarah or to Brenda or whoever is available, Timothy will make sure that he will clarify his doubts before doing something to execute. Like, so this is something very peculiar in him, and that's why he's a good speaker also because he
He's a
understands
wonderful
things on a
speaker.
more perspective. Yeah.
But all of them, I mean, to have Brenda, Luzvi, Timothy, and everybody else, Bishwarup, Sumana, Mahalakshmi, I mean, who do I name? Devinder ji, I mean, it's just
My
wonderful.
love
Rajuda, I
and
mean, there's so
regards
many.
my love and regards to each of you. Just feel that I am sitting in the audience and I made all of you stand in the stage. So I am watching all of you from the
This is
audience.
Shiju sir. So I'm now going to be reading a poem, Shiju sir, which is not part of Katashi. I'm now moving beyond Katashi. This one's one of my personal favorites. It's called Destiny is a Myth. You've written this of a month or two ago, I think. Destiny is a myth.
I
Can
think
you
I've
ever
read that.
chart? Huh? I'll read that,
I
Shiju
feel
sir.
so. Mm.
Can you ever chart your destiny or at least do on it some scrutiny? You can't. As fate is totally unpredictable, many situations may come unacceptable. You have to try hard to be adaptable. Change management may seem irritable. But we live on. in an ever-changing universe where life may anytime take a reverse. Be bolder and keep your desires practical. Fantasy beyond potential will be an obstacle. Take control of your character well in advance so that your life relays better performance. Your destiny is an obscure mystery. It doesn't have any mention in history. So see it as a lyrical myth and add acceleration to your living pith. Face people in life with adaptation. Spread love to create a good reputation. Don't break your head thinking of tomorrow. Live today as a blessing, reducing all sorrow. Damn with any kind of craze for fame. It's not a commodity lying in a store lame. Use potentials generously and honestly and live life quite simply. It's you who derive your results, and it's only you who invite the insults. Destiny is a myth unrevealed, a cosmic secret very well concealed. Shiju sir, your
You know why
rhymes are
No,
you're
you know why I
smiling.
was
Please tell
laughing
us.
now? Can I just say why I was laughing now? When you read the
Please tell
poem,
us.
I thought you were reading one of your poem because destiny is a myth was something which I feel I have read it somewhere. Then later I realized that you were reading my poem. Now when you are, that's what I was thinking. That's why I'm telling you, okay, destiny is a myth. I think I've read that poem somewhere because I was thinking it is your poem. Then later, as you read it, then I am realizing the fact that you're reading of my poem. Anyway,
No,
very
no.
nice
This evening
recitation.
is all about
Fine.
you, not my poems. All your poems and all
No, no,
your writing, Shiju sir.
this is one of my favorite. Actually, the problem with me is that after I write something, I am also a reader. Let me be very honest
Of
with you.
course,
Whether
of
it is a
course,
story,
of
whether it
course.
is a poem, I
True,
always, when I'm
true.
writing something, it is like we have some kind of blessings, which gives. It's like the downloading is happening in your subconscious mind, and that get transpires into the ink, and that is how you write. So there is somebody who's
Absolutely.
downloading it. So after you write the whole entire stuff, then you read it, and then you say the first wow, wow, it's not bad. So that is because
Exactly,
like you feel satisfied, but that doesn't confirm that your
exactly.
writing is good. You will give it to somebody else who might be an editor. The editor will say wow. Then it goes to a
True.
proofreader. The proofreader will say this is not worth it actually. So so there are various ways of looking at things. So but at the end of the
So
day,
true.
like whatever I write, at times I will not recollect. That is why I keep a record of all that. That is why I always put it in the US copyright portal so that it remains solid over there so that I don't miss it out. And there are so many poems I've lost also because
Me too,
sometimes I don't,
Shiju sir.
so that's happened. Yeah, but it's very
Yeah, I'm
lovely. Your recitation was really good, and of course you handled the rhymes very well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. No, I'm like you, Shiju sir. I think I've lost so many. I must learn how to safeguard my poems because once it's out of me, it's like everybody's. That's what my problem is also, Shiju sir. But
Yeah,
let me
I'm
just
sure that all the
uh,
carry on,
okay.
carry on. I'm listening.
So basically, a few other people. Luzvi says, so nice. Destiny is a myth. Honorable. Forgot it is his poem. She's also laughing. Bisharup says, well said, Shijuji. Khemlalji says, very jolly
No,
of you
I'm
both.
honest.
Congrats
So
again.
suddenly I couldn't recollect. Yeah.
Florabelle Luchman says, Ipshita, you recite excellently. Katashi Tales is an excellent book written by Shiju. There's so many lessons to learn from each story. Brenda ma'am says, Ipshita Ganguly, Shiju is a very creative writer. Editing his book was a pleasure and lots of fun. His ideas are unique. And honestly, Shiju sir, why I read this particular poem and all your poems, they're all in rhymes. Your rhymes are simply spectacular. You write the most profound, heart touching message with lucid rhymes. It reminds me, it has always reminded me of the power of simplicity, and it is not easy to be simple. See, with poetry, you can play with word formats and craft, but to me, poetry is something, poetry is far beyond the word. It's being poetic. And that is when it touches the heart. To me, that is always true poetry, Shizusa. And your rhymes with the messages has always been, straight to the heart. And that's why I completely I just thought, why is rhymes your personal favorite format? I mean, why not? I mean, mostly I've seen rhymes, Shiju sir. Please tell us a little bit.
See, it's not that I can't write non-rhyming. I've written non-rhyming poems also.
Yes,
But
of course,
if
but
you look at poem generally, people
right,
come there to get a melody. They
right,
see they have not
exactly,
come to read your prose. They have not come to read your
exactly,
prose. So when
exactly.
you write a non-rhyming poem by using the most useless words, where a person has to keep on running to get the dictionary, that doesn't. Maybe the poem is sensible, but from a reader's perspective, it is actually taxation for that particular reader. So when it
Very true.
rhymes, what happens is the chin goes like this, because that rhythm is happening, and then the whole thing is so at least I wanted to make sure my poem doesn't go half read, because
How lovely.
putting so much of effort to write it. But when it comes to
So sweet. Yeah,
melancholy,
the
when it
melody.
comes to deep sadness, and when it comes to something which is depressive, or something which you're trying to voice out your inner feelings, there it is better to be not using the rhymes. Rhymes are something which is like, if you're trying to give a message where you want the impact to be very strong.
Very
But
true.
anybody knows that rhyming is always fun, because when it
Yes.
comes to rhyming, then you will make sure that you will complete the whole poem. Because
So
philosophical
true.
poems or the non-rhyming ones, the takers are there, but the takers are not as much as the rhyming poems. But what I do normally is, even philosophical, I try to make it a bit of rhyme, but I don't intentionally do it, but it comes by default because I've been doing so many rhymes. So I don't know. The sentence always ends with the rhyme. I'll
It's
tell you another. Okay, good.
wonderful.
At this juncture, I want to tell you at this juncture how I really started writing.
Please,
I was
please.
not actually a fiction writer or a poet in the past. My
Okay.
habit was, when I was during my childhood, I've said this in the interview with Brenda before. During my childhood, I used to play with the small alphabet blocks. So what happens is, like, I have a habit of connecting it: BAT, bat, cat, sat, run. So, and I used to show
Wow.
to my mom, that I made these words and all. So when I was doing all this, my friends used to tease me, and because they were playing with aeroplanes, and they had their medical, doctors' toy kit,
She just
and they
the
had,
mic. The
yeah.
mic.
When I was playing with the alphabets, my friends used to have this big aeroplanes. They used to play with aeroplanes. They used to bring the Lego blocks to construct something big. Then they used to, some of my female friends, not my girlfriends, obviously. So they used to
I think
play with this medical kit, kitchen equipments. So when we all grew up, I came to know that they become pilot, engineers, and chef, doctors, because of whatever they were playing with. But I was playing with blocks, so maybe that is why I was a writer. So what happened is, like, as I grew up, I never used to think of write. I never ever dreamt that I will be even writing a book in my life. Let me be very honest with you. I used to take a lot of happiness in making quotes. We make small quotes. I wanted to. My hobby was making
the
small quotes
the
with small
audio is not
alphabets.
the the audio has gone bad. She just said, I think the audio has again gone bad. So they're asking you to speak louder.
Is it now
Yes.
okay? Is it okay now?
Still not good. Better. Better.
No, for me, I am able to hear you better. That's why I'm telling you. Is
No,
it
but
okay now?
somehow it's gone a little. Still soft. Still soft.
Is it now okay?
Better. Much better. Much better. Yes.
So the whole thing was like, I was wondering, my habit was to make small quotes. What I used to do is, I wanted to shorten the words and then give a large meaning. So what happens is, I get a lot of passion in doing quotes. So I used to write quotes after quotes. So maybe I would have written around thousands or maybe thousands of quotes in my, you can say, from my high school days. So writing those quotes, small, tiny quotes, quips. I realized one day that even if I'm trying to write a story, it's all connecting as quotes, if you take out the sentences. That is when
Wow.
I realized that writing quotes is a good exercise. Because writing
Yes.
quotes, what happens is, if you have a habit of writing quotes, you will make sure that all the sentences what you do on a fiction or either as such, you will make sure that there is precision in that and you deliver more with shorter words. This is very important when
True.
it comes to making a book or being a writer. You should deliver more by writing less. If you're going
How
to
lovely.
write more and deliver less, that becomes actually a monotony to the reader. So
So
the
keep it
more
simple.
shorter you make and the yeah, the more shorter you write with a larger message, the reader would be happy to say, oh, wow. I mean, oh, look at these sentences. I mean, it has a message. So this is what, so even if you, Sita or me, if we are buying a book, we buy a book because we have our personal choices. And we all want to learn something from it at the end of the day. Or I otherwise take amusement. If you are in a state of kind of suppressed mood, or then you're over with a lot of sadness, or you are in a isolated form, you feel slightly detached from life, then you kind of take books which are which can motivate you. Then if
So
you're
true.
really happy and then you're a fun loving person, you will try to read more of amusement stories, and you will like to read some romantic novels. If you're having deep thoughts, obviously the first choice will be romance. So I mean, these are the kinds of taste what people have. And if somebody is going to write a novel on romance, he can't keep very large descriptions. He has to, every small sentences what he writes in that book has to have a wow factor. That is why you will see many of them becoming bestsellers, and some people, even though they write hundreds and hundreds of pages, they never even get to the base level of the cupboard. So these are things which, because anyway I'm live, I just thought let these messages also go to the audience, that try to make your words as short as possible with larger meanings, instead of dragging so many words together and creating a lot of complications. Because if personally you ask me, I'm sorry, my earphone fell. Yeah, if you personally ask me as a reader, I will prefer to read a book which
Shijisa,
delivers
it's gone completely inaudible now. So you'll have to. They're saying that if you could just check on the jack, maybe. Okay. If you could just check on the jack. Can you hear me now? Hello?
yeah, I can hear you.
No, can't hear it at all, Shijisa. So what? Let me do something. Let me now read another quotation from you and another poem from you. Yes, I think now you can be heard. But in the meantime, let me just read a quotation from you because you were speaking about your quotations, and I chose a beautiful quotation. I loved it. So let me just read a quotation. I think the lesson that we've learned today, and of course, those of us who read you, who are in touch with you, who are blessed enough to be in touch with you, is always the power of simplicity and the power of making it as short and crisp as possible. So this quote says, your quote, existence is all about insistence to oneself that one is born not to destroy mankind, but to improve and safeguard it further. Beautiful quote. Now, Shijisa, I want to ask you. You're the founder of Motivational Strips, the world's most active forum. Poets from over 163 countries with impressions of over 7 million strikes a month. Not only that, Motivational Strips has prestigious associations, Bharat Vision, World Union of Poets, and so much more. Recently, Motivational Strips is associated with Gujarat Sahitya Academy and awarded 350 poets from 80 countries. What does it take to be the founder and main inspiration behind something of this magnitude, Chijisa?
See, when we awarded 350 writers across the globe, one reason was Gujarat Sahitya Academy being sentimental to the nation, and India celebrating 74 independence. The chairman of Sahitya and my good friend and I would rather say my elder brother or a fatherly
Vishnu
figure,
Pandya.
of course, Dr. Vishnu Pandya, because we both have a kind of connection which we both only know. So I mean, his vision was very simple, that he also wanted to partake into something which could really create a big impact. Then I said that the Gujarat Sahitya Academy, the whole crux of the institution is to make sure that writers are benefited out of that.
So I told him that if India has to go beyond India, then we have to make it, more of a global ordering so that we involve
Wow.
everybody so that because otherwise also motivational stuff is, we don't have a nation over it because Gujarat Sahitya Academy is one of our associate from India, but we also have from Brazil, we also have from Seychelles, we have from Peru. Peru was recently, people were honored from the Peru Literary Board. Then we have
Yes.
Seychelles. Maggie is one of the chief advisor over there, and I'm also one of
Yes.
the advisor for them. Then we have Congo, Asia. Then I mean, we have a lot of government organizations, and we have made sure that these organizations are all beneficial for the world writers. And the whole idea
Great.
behind this is to make sure that true talents, because let me be very honest with you, Ipsita. It is your pen which should speak when you're a writer.
Absolutely.
Speaking with a
Absolutely.
pen, speaking with your pen and speaking with your mouth has two big differences. A person may say, I've done this, I moved the mountain, I've seen. I've always said that when it comes to honoring and motivational stuff, I used to tell the people also, why am I not honored? I used to say, let your pen speak to me. You please ask your pen to come and speak to me, and the moment when I see your pen moving and showing me some kind of gestures which can be appreciated, of course I will be the first person to nominate you, and you don't have to even come and ask me why I'm not awarded. So these used
So
to be my
true.
answers to everybody who used to approach me on this aspect. Today in society, what we have is that there is, see, you can't say it is corruption, but minds are corrupted. Because what is happening is people are in, as I told you, a writer should not inflate one's ego, but rather inflate the errors which is there in the surroundings. So the whole idea
Very
behind
true.
motivational strip is to give hope to the writers, the authentic, serious writers, that there is one platform which will stand by you in all daring times. And maybe this was one reason why we became the world's most active writers forum, because we have a wonderful family over here. We don't even know that, we don't even ask each other what is the nationality, because we never felt so, because we all belong to the writers tribe. So when and
Absolutely.
and 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 Dr. Vishnu Pandya is a visionary. He is a visionary which is beyond what you all can imagine, because he is such a wonderful person and his heart is so clean and he's so dedicated to literature that even the moments when I used to spend with him, when we met in person, I remember that whenever our conversation was on a pause, he will be writing something on a piece of paper. Then I used to look at him and
Wow.
ask, "What? No, no, I just don't want to waste my time. Let me just write something because." And he has written 107 books as far as I know on the day I met him.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know after that how many more books he has written. So
Oh my God.
these are all inspiration for writers, that you shouldn't run behind fame. If you run behind fame, you will end up in defame.
So true.
Let fame feel ashamed and let it come running that
Wow.
I'm missing out this person. That is where you
How
become the real
wonderful.
staunch writer. I have seen
How
so many
beautiful.
people just roaming around with vanity, homemade certificate, without authentication, without any testimonials, without any committed backup. I am not against them. But my humble advice to them is that if they keep doing this, what will happen to our youths of tomorrow? What will happen to the
So
people
true.
who have a desire to be a great writer? So this time
Exactly.
when we did the honoring system for 350 poets, we made sure that 25% of in that 350 were the most promising youths, and the 75% were awarded was the people who were published and well established. So what happens is that the 25%, why we wanted to inspire the youths, is because they were promising candidates who used to write with very good acumen. So seeing them, the next generation will have a hope, yes, I can also do it. So the
Lovely.
whole purpose of this awarding system was to make sure that right communication reaches the right people. There will be people
Wonderful.
who will criticize. There will be people who might say against it. There will be, but that is common everywhere. Whether a person wins a Nobel Prize, also you will find people yelling around. You can't blame it. But at the end of the day, a respected honor which was relayed by 138 newspapers, 138 newspapers, 7 TV television channel, which is historically first time in the history of the world you would have seen a award being relayed in so many newspapers. This all
So
happened
true.
because of what, Ipsita? Can you guess because of what? Why all this happened?
Because they are all worthy people who got honored. This is
Because
absolutely worthy news.
because of all of you. You all were together in the mission that you wanted to make sure that literature doesn't get polluted. You people were serious enough. You took ownership of the forum. You took ownership of its affiliates. You took ownership of every process. So this is what I was trying to say, that motivational strips is writers. It is not, a vanity bag or some place where you come to gain fame. It is actually made of writers for writers. In that,
Wonderful,
wherever
Shiju
we see a deviation, it doesn't mean that the person has been removed from an award. We are awaiting a situation where we will be able to include that person also. So today, if you don't win, the world doesn't end over there. You can still
So
keep
true.
writing with your pen. There will be a situation where your acumen will go up. So the whole idea behind this honoring of 350 poets from 80 countries was first to empower global friendship among writers.
Hmm.
Second reason was to make sure that we have a learning system from every angles of the world, whether it is east, west, south, or north. So now what happened is, like, everybody is united, everybody is collective, everybody loves one another, lot of respect, lot of interactions. People have faith between nations. Trust me, if we all writers really put effort, we can bring a huge, huge change to the world, which would make this earth a better place to live.
And I think it's our responsibility as writers, as sensitive souls. Shiju sir, we have one question here. Lopa Banerjee asks, I have a question for new fiction writers. What do you think should be the ideal length for a book of fiction for our current times, keeping in mind short attention span of readers?
See, I would say you don't have to keep a particular, you don't have to give a quantity of words to it. It should make sure that the moment the story is getting kind of monotonous, try to stop it, with a good climax. For
So
example,
true.
my third book, which I've completed, see, I'm so lazy to publish it. It's almost 3-4 months that the script is there with me. That has 82,000 words. But there was a reason why 82,000 words was there. Because it starts from US, then there is a travel, and then it goes to China, and then within China, the political systems also come into the novel, and then it goes back to America. So that's the whole theme. So it is like a full fledged movie. You would have seen Hollywood movies of 2.5 hours, 3 hours. It's like an epic. But the basic idea was to make sure that each and every chapter will make sure that you lose your breath laughing, because the whole book is of humor. So the whole idea, like I told you about the nappy, so at times people behave, like in a way. So these kinds of, this is nothing when it comes to that novel. That novel will make make sure that tears start falling out from your eyes when you read that laughing. Because when Brenda was again my editor, of course Brenda edits most of my book, because I have a kind of chemistry with her when it comes to my books. She was, at the end of the day, she was telling that, Shiju, why did you stop the story? I said 82,000 words are done. Now what more you want? Then she was telling that we will bring out a second part of this book. This is where the relevance come. The reason why I wanted to stop the book was it was becoming too large. But yes, it has been written in a way that every chapter is a separate story. So you will not get that monotony in that book. Anyway, if God's wills, I might publish it before the end of the year. Let's see what happens.
How lovely,
So
Shiju sir.
for
We
the
look
next
forward to
generation,
it.
keep it minimum of 35,000 words and maximum of 75,000 to 80,000 words. If you are a novice beginner, try to cut it off within 60,000 words. If you're a beginner, because what happens is, maybe if you try to touch upon a very large subject, initially, then it might not have the impact what you desire, until and unless the script is exceptional. But uh, but think from a point of a reader, and you reread your book, and then you will understand that, okay, fine, till here it is going very well. And suddenly I see that the story is getting stale. So don't let the story get into a stage where it goes stale and it becomes monotonous or boring for the person. The moment you feel that there is a deviation happening, put that cut off, whatever number of words you've written. If it is not a novel, you're not able to complete it as a novel, make it a novella, no problem. But make sure you cut off on a stage where you feel that here, maybe as a reader, you should have a perception as a reader. You think that you are not a writer. You are reading in, and or give it to somebody who can read, within your family or somebody, who would be unbiased giving you an opinion. So they will say that, okay, fine, the story went on very well. You don't even have to even bother about the grammar at this stage. Just write whatever you want, because writing the script is the most important thing. Write the script and the person will say, wow, I like this plot. This is creative. Wow. Oh my God, you really messed up with the ending. Then that means there is a problem over there. Then you have to rework on that particular portion. So there is no limit to words. If you are writing a novel, yes, you can go up to 75,000 words to 80,000 words. There's no harm, but don't go to that stage only for the sake of it. If your plot has enough exposure that it can touch up kinds of words, yes, go ahead. But in case you feel that this much of content is not there available with me, and I'm trying to drag something into it, and then I'm trying to make up something that it touches 75,000, trust me, the book will go for a toss. If such a situation arises, try to make it a novella. Novella is a shorter novel. Yeah, so that would be my advice to all the youths who want to write fiction. And
Very,
it's
very.
always good to start off with shorts. It's good to start with short stories, because I also started off with short stories, because I never started off with a novel. Now, yes, I've written a novel. That is different.
Actually, I wanted to ask you at the end of the interview, saying that, what is your words to aspiring writers? But I think Lupa's question brought that forth. So let me now read a poem, I think, from your next upcoming book, Arabic and Tales. Shall I do that, Shiju sir?
Yeah, you can. But
Arabic.
how did you know that? How did you know that I'm going to keep a poem in that?
I'm going to ask you. I don't know. I just love this poem, and I don't know whether it's going to be there in that book or not. But I don't know. But I just thought that maybe this is part of Arabic and Tame. So let me
You
read
can
the
read
poem
that.
out
No,
to
no, no.
everybody.
It's a part of Arabic. It's a part of Arabic, and the
Arre
story
wah.
is it's one of the yeah. No, 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 no. It's a part of Arabic, but I'm not very sure that I'll be keeping the poetry form, because sometimes what happens is, for Katashi tale the message was different, but for Arabian tales it is totally a fiction work.
Wow.
But yes, depends on my whims, moods, at that time whether I want to keep it or not. But let me see. But
I
you read
just
it out, because it
love this
has a
poem.
part of the story. Yeah, there's
It's
no
called
harm.
The Flitting Wings. The Flitting Wings. Aisha lived in a
Such a
hut
lovely
by the
story.
river Homer. She was a girl jovial and filled with humor. Her surroundings were filled with nature's splendor, and she mostly got merged with this wonder. Butterflies flitted around wherever she may wander, that started to get with her fonder. Aisha's father was a poor farmer. He used to sell vegetables as a roamer. Her mother took care of the house and drove away from kitchen every single mouse. One day, Aisha saw an unusual looking butterfly. She ran to her mother and said, Ma, I saw it fly. Oh, really? What was it, an invisible bird? Oh, Ma, you always think so weird. Her mom was now curious to know what it was and went along with Aisha to see it pass. The gigantic violet wings of the butterfly flitted. Aisha's mom, seeing its huge size, immediately fainted. The giant butterfly came out from the mom and daughter and took Aisha with it across the river water. Aisha kept yelling, Put me down, you beast! I'm not the one to be your dinner or feast. She kept wondering what the butterfly intended. Aisha was in a fit of anger, confounded. They headed to a beautiful, sparkling waterfall. The butterfly went closer to it, not afraid at all, and pierced itself with Aisha through the water curtain. Aisha closed her eyes, thinking her death was certain. With closed eyes, she yelled, I don't want to die. What happiness do you get by making me cry? I used to shower innate love on you butterflies, but now I feel you're the worst of species. When she got no reply, Aisha opened her eyes. The sight she saw got her mesmerized. A garden full of butterflies got her surprised. All the plants had butterflies instead of leaves. The butterfly dropped her in a palace entrance and leaves. She felt a massive wing fondling her silky hair. For the first time, she felt she was being treated fair. Aisha was Hello, Aisha. Welcome to my flitting kingdom. I'm the queen here. As my guest, you have all the freedom. Aisha was amazed by hearing the queen butterfly speaking. She was shown around while they were talking. Aisha said, "The butterflies instead of the leaves were magical." The queen replied sadly, "The reason behind it is quite tragical. This garden once had plants filled with leaves and flowers until it became a source of envy for evil powers. We used to flit from happy and joyful, enjoying the ambience and aroma plentiful. And as soon the Dragon King felt the garden was getting more attraction, and one day his army came and did a mass destruction. They blew fire around the garden with their nostrils and burned all the plants and butterflies like devils. Thousands of butterflies and flowers had all turned to ashes, and nature gods were upset and they sent rain for ages. The dragons couldn't sustain the rain and they perished. My grandmother later was crowned as the queen, and a new kingdom flourished. She was an ardent nature lover, but only stems grew, but they never ever flowered. We were cursed by nature, but we were cursed by nature god for not safeguarding the kindness they showered. One night, my granny queen thought of a plan to restore the beautiful garden. She ordered the next day that each butterfly should guard the stems as a warden. The nature god's heart melted seeing our love for nature's sight and said, "Bring a girl who loves your species truly, and I will relieve you from this plight." Aisha jumped with joy and asked, "Dear Queen, did you find that caring girl?" "Yes, that's you, Aisha. As we understand, you have a heart shining like a pearl." It started to rain heavily during that time, and butterflies all around her flitting their wings in musical rhyme. Leaves sprouted on the stems, making it green, and flowers bloomed on them, which they had never seen. "Aisha, Aisha, wake up! Here is your coffee kept in a cup." Aisha yawned and then gave a sudden scream. "Ya Allah, don't tell me it was all just a dream." She took the cup of coffee and went near the window and watched a gigantic violet butterfly flitting off high in the air, leaving behind a big shadow. How beautiful, Shiju sir. An entire story in rhyme. So, Arabican tales. When are we going to have that, Shiju sir?
Arabican tales is see, actually what happens is I am living in this part of Oman, so I've been used to a bit of Arabic culture because I mingle with a lot of Arabs. Are you able to hear? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're
Am I
audible.
audible?
Absolutely, Shiju sir.
Yes. So actually, the inspiration behind that book happened in a place called Tbilisi. I don't know if you heard about Tbilisi. It's the capital of a European country called Georgia, not the US Georgia. So I had to go there on an official trip, and I have some friends over there. So we all went and watched the Will Smith movie Aladdin. The movie was done so well that sitting over there, I decided that my next project is going to be Arabian Tales.
Wow,
So
wow.
actually speaking, it was a source of inspiration. So I wanted to give a simple answer after Aladdin and Alibaba, who came next. So book is being based on that, and then a lot of Arabic culture is being researched before the stories are completed. So this book is going to be definitely much better than Katashi Tales. I'd be very honest with you. Because this is very, very
Wow.
funny, humorous, and a lot of entertainment, a lot of magic, a lot of black magicians. You will find a lot of
Sorcerers.
secrets, caves, all kinds of stuff. But of course, the magic lamp and of course the oil barrel will be missing because I don't want to take something which is already done. So here it is totally a different theme. But yes, it will definitely be felt that you are reading some, like a real Arabic cultured kind of folk tale, which is actually an Arabian tale. So this can be a good addition to the historic Arabian tales. It's a very challenging project. It's a very challenging project because it's not so easy. Otherwise, people would have attempted this genre. But 𝘕𝘓𝘵 Tales was also not a very easy thing. It was a challenging thing because for a long time nobody had written folk tales, and somehow I have this habit of going because you don't have to fry the fish. The fish is already fried because you're pulling it out from the volcano. So my habit is I touch up those kinds of genre which gives me that the Salman Khan says that kick. So here the fun was when I saw the Aladdin movie. It's a desire. It comes from within you. You can't help it. There are some desires which will take away your sleep. So I thought when somebody can write Aladdin and Ali Baba, why can't I also try? This is how I wrote 𝘕𝘓𝘵. So let me try
How
to do
lovely.
something which is very different from what I did before. So let's see how the book goes. I'm still on the because right now I'm doing that project because I finished my novel. Now I am almost on halfway through. So if touchwood, if the I have taken the opinions from the right people for the portion I've written, and they all have given a not small one. They said I can't believe that these kinds of stories exist. So if
Wow.
the second portion, the second half also gets that wow factor, then this will get published as a book. Because something which is worth only, I would rather. I don't want to overdo things. Maybe in a year, one or two books. But those like 𝘕𝘓𝘵 Tales became a bestseller. My happiness is when a lot of readers read my book. I don't want quantities on the bookshelf. One book, one solid book, which will say yes, which will be a signature that I have put in some efforts.
So true.
So let's hope Arabican Tales also becomes another. It carries the lineage of 𝘕𝘓𝘵 Tales. Touchwood. It's all depending on destiny and fate. Destiny is a myth. We have to believe that myth now.
Destiny is a
Yeah.
myth. So true. So true.
Yeah.
So we are all looking forward to Arabican Tales, totally, and it is amazing that we have almost 1 hour 21 minutes. We've already been speaking poetry on Cafe Conversation, Shiju sir, but we've been not just speaking poetry.
I
We've
know.
been
I've
speaking
seen.
life. We've been speaking values, and thank you so much for coming on. I want to read a very beautiful comment for me, actually. I must read it out and thank 𝘈𝘀𝘵𝘔𝘓. She says, Ipshita, I taught recitation and choral speaking when I was working as a teacher
Not
principal, and I give
audible.
you 10 on 10 for your
Your
recitation.
sound is getting interrupted. Your sound is getting
Okay.
interrupted.
Can I be heard now, Shijisa? Better? Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
much better, much better.
𝘈𝘀𝘵𝘔𝘓. Thank you, Shiji sir. 𝘈𝘀𝘵𝘔𝘓 says, Ipshita, I taught recitation and choral speaking when I was working as a teacher principal, and I give you 10 and 10 a recitation for your lovely poem. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, Brenda ma'am says, Ipshita Ganguly, Arabican Tales is outstanding. Yes, Brenda ma'am, I'm sure it is. A beautiful, great learning and full of energy session, conversations and interactions. Yes, Shizu sir. I want to thank you for it, and I want to thank everybody who's there, through with us, through this 1 hour, 22 minutes, 42 seconds that we are on. I guess it's time to say goodbye, Shiju sir. Thank you very, very much for being there. I will, of course, end with a poem, but before I end, Shiju sir, a few words from you, please.
Definitely, we have to end up the show. You remember I told you a
Yes,
few minutes before that the moment you find that the whole thing is getting stale, try to bring a climax. So life is also like a
absolutely,
novel. So I don't
absolutely.
want first of all let me express my heartfelt gratitude to all the people have taken time to bear with us for such a long time. It is really,
Exactly.
I have my high respect for all of them. I'm so sorry, but when Ipsita told me about the time only, that is also when I realized that it has crossed 1 hour. But my whole intention was not to put all of you into a situation that you have to sit for so long. But I felt that I was talking to my literary family and friends. So I never feel at home when I talk to all of you. So thank you so much, Ipsita. You are a wonderful person. Let me first start off with that. You are a great writer. Of course, I do follow all your readings,
Thank you.
and your recitation is very
Thank you,
good.
Shiju sir.
And one good thing about you is that you are a keen learner. So that is a big asset. And the best thing is that all your audience knows you. So that is also a great asset. So thank you so much for giving this person a bit of time in your show. I feel it's a blessed moment. And I'm really happy and glad that I could connect with each and every of my, maybe most of them are known to me, but still I thank them for taking time, to come and watch this show and support it. I don't see it as a show, but I rather see it as my personal friendship and lovely gestures to all of you. So thank you so much and have a great day and keep your pen moving if all of your readers, writers. And if you're a reader, make sure you keep flipping the pages. Thank you so much. Love you.
And of course, I will end on that note with a poem. But before I do, from my end also, Shiju sir, I mean, you are an inspiration to me, and you're an inspiration to our MS family and to poets beyond the MS family. So I am very, very honored, Shiju sir, that you have come onto this conversation and given so much of your time. And like you very rightly said, Shiju sir, not just you and me, but most important to all those who've been here with us and listening to us. And there's so many people who have been here. And Bisharup and Mahalakshmi says it was wonderful conversation. Viva Mitra, my friend, says I loved it. Lizvi says very wonderful conversation. And so many. Mahalakshmi says thank you, Esprit, for giving us so much of your time. And yes, I thank both you and all the viewers here from the bottom of my heart, all those who've given us time. But I must end with your poem, Shiju sir, because you always say to us that let your pen speak. And here is my favorite most poem from you. It's called The Soothing Pen. And this is with this I will say goodbye. The Soothing Pen. The wisest of the public keeps away the panic, turns their brain to logic, keeping away the frantic. They are the ones brave to uplift others they crave. That's how they behave, never chained in hatred cave. This is an ideal writer's heart, the one who uplifts literary art. This is an ideal writer's heart, the one who uplifts literary art. They keep ink as a treasured part without arrogance in that cart. Be the one who is loving with a passion for encouraging. Never be one misbehaving. This keeps your pen soothing. I'm sure you want to remain best and not one known as a jest. Be one to allure and entice, not one to spread malice. Shiju sir, thank you. Thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much.
giving us your time. It's been
It's my
wonderful
pleasure.
having this heart to heart on poetry. And from Shiju sir and myself,
Thank you.
humbled by all your presence. Thank you for being with us. A very, very good night. Shabak khair. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's keep writing. Let's keep enjoying.
Afwan,
Let's just
thank
let's
you.
just keep being good
And
human beings.
my love and regards to everybody who was there as a part of the show. Please understand that you were on stage and I was sitting on the audience. So that is how I was seeing it, and it was making me more comfortable to talk to all of you. Thank you so much. Love you all. Bye.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.